Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered why you suddenly appear older, even though you feel energetic and vibrant inside? The answer might be sitting right on top of your head. Your hairstyle, believe it or not, can add 10 years or more to your appearance in an instant. And it has nothing to do with wrinkles or how much grey you're showing. The way you style your hair sends powerful signals about confidence, vitality, and how you see yourself. Today, we're going to examine 5 common hairstyles that, despite good intentions, tend to make older men look significantly older than they actually are. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, understanding these styling mistakes can transform not just how others see you, but how you feel about yourself every time you look in the mirror. Doctors, barbers, and style specialists all agree that hair plays a crucial role in first impressions and self-esteem, and small changes can create remarkably fresh, younger, and more confident results. So, let's explore what might be aging you unnecessarily and what you can do about it. The first style we need to discuss is the high and tight comb-over. This is perhaps the most classic aging mistake men make with their hair. The comb-over, especially one that's cut very short on the sides with longer strands swept across the top, is usually meant to hide thinning hair or a receding hairline. But here's the problem. Instead of concealing these natural changes, the comb-over actually highlights them by creating a sharp, obvious contrast between where you have hair and where you don't. This dramatic styling draws attention to exactly what you're trying to hide. Even more importantly, it signals insecurity and a reluctance to accept the natural aging process. People notice the effort you're making to disguise reality, and that effort itself ages your appearance. Consider Ron's story. At 68, he'd worn a comb-over for 20 years, believing it made him look younger and more professional. His routine involved careful styling every morning, positioning each strand just right, and constant worry about wind or rain disrupting his look. When Ron finally decided to try something different and got a shorter, simpler cut that worked with his natural hairline instead of against it, the change was remarkable. He looked younger, lighter, and more confident. Friends and family noticed immediately, commenting that he seemed more relaxed and approachable. Ron himself felt liberated from the daily anxiety of maintaining his old style. The lesson here is clear. Avoid dramatic tricks to disguise hair loss. Instead, opt for a simple, tidy haircut that shows you're comfortable with who you are. Confidence and self-assurance are infinitely more attractive than elaborate attempts at concealment. Moving to our second aging culprit, super long sideburns. Many men grew their sideburns long in the 60s or 70s and never reconsidered them. But those long, bushy sideburns that once looked cool now add a decade or more to your face. Here's why. Long sideburns drag the eye downward, making your face appear longer and exaggerating any sagging skin or jowls you might have developed. They create vertical lines that emphasize drooping rather than lift. When sideburns are left untrimmed or unblended with the rest of your hair, they look unfinished and untidy, as if you've neglected your grooming. This aging effect is completely unnecessary and easily fixed. Mike's experience illustrates this perfectly. At 73, Mike cherished his long sideburns as a tribute to the rock musicians he admired in his youth. They were part of his identity, he thought. But when his grandson gently suggested they might be outdated, Mike decided to experiment. He had his barber trim them shorter and blend them properly with his haircut. The difference was stunning. Mike's face immediately looked fresher and more modern. His jawline appeared stronger, and the overall impression was of someone energetic and approachable rather than stuck in the past. The simple truth is that keeping sideburns short, neat, and well blended is one of the easiest ways to look more polished and youthful. This small change highlights the warm features of your face, your eyes and smile, instead of drawing attention downward to areas that naturally sag with age. Our third problematic style is what professionals call helmet hair. This describes hair that's kept uniform in length all the way around your head, heavily sprayed or slicked back into a stiff, unmoving shape that resembles a helmet or cap. You see this style frequently on older men who use heavy gels, pomades, or multiple coats of hairspray to keep every strand locked in place. The problem is that this rigid styling removes all natural texture and movement from your hair, making you look significantly older and less approachable. When your hair doesn't move naturally, it creates an artificial, dated appearance. The stiffness of the style also accentuates facial wrinkles and sagging skin by providing a harsh, unmoving frame around your face. The contrast between the frozen hair and the natural softness of aging skin is unflattering. Jack's transformation shows how powerful changing this can be. At 75, Jack had worn his hair in the same slicked-back helmet style for decades. He used so much spray that his hair felt hard to the touch and never moved, even in strong wind. When he finally visited a modern barber who convinced him to try a softer, layered cut with minimal product, Jack was amazed. His face suddenly looked brighter and friendlier. The natural movement in his hair made him appear more energetic and alive. People started telling him he looked great, asking if he'd been on vacation or lost weight, when all he'd changed was his hairstyle. The modern approach for older men emphasizes working with your natural hair growth patterns, adding layers for softness and dimension, and using minimal product to maintain movement. Hair that moves naturally suggests vitality and ease, qualities that make anyone look younger and more attractive. Now let's address a mistake that's particularly common and particularly aging: the dyed to dark look. Many older men decide to dye their hair to look younger, but they make a critical error by choosing a shade that's much darker than their natural color, often going all the way to jet black. This attempt at rejuvenation almost always backfires. Instead of making you look younger, dark dye creates harsh contrasts with your mature skin tone, actually highlighting wrinkles and age spots rather than minimizing them. When your hair is unnaturally dark, it draws attention to thinning areas and graying roots as they grow in, requiring constant maintenance. The stark coloring can also make your complexion look washed out, sallow, or tired, especially under certain lighting. Your face needs softer framing as you age, not harsh contrasts. Experts consistently recommend embracing some gray and choosing softer, more blended tones that complement your natural coloring. Tom learned this lesson the hard way. At 71, he started dyeing his hair dark at home, thinking it would make him look younger and more vital. Instead, people kept asking if he was feeling all right, or commenting that he looked different in a way they couldn't quite place. Tom felt self-conscious and uncomfortable. When he finally consulted a professional colorist who suggested a lighter, more blended approach with some natural gray showing through, the results were transformative. Tom looked refreshed, relaxed, and genuinely younger. The softer tones warmed his complexion and made him look healthier and more approachable. If you're going to color your hair, use subtle shades that are lighter rather than darker than your natural color. Consider lowlights or highlights that add dimension without creating artificial contrast. Remember, the goal isn't to look like you're 20 again. The goal is to look like the best, most vital version of your current self. Our final aging hairstyle is the bowl cut or home cut bangs. This style, where the hair is cut in a straight line around the entire head or where bangs are trimmed bluntly across the forehead, might seem simple and practical, but it's incredibly aging. The bowl cut flattens the top of your head and squares off the sides, creating a heavy, droopy appearance that makes your whole face look longer and more tired. Blunt bangs that hang straight across your forehead emphasize every wrinkle and fine line, drawing attention to the areas you'd probably prefer to minimize. This style is often chosen for convenience or out of long habit, but it becomes increasingly unflattering as hair naturally thins or changes texture with age. The bowl cut is also difficult to maintain well. As your hair grows, the straight lines become uneven and choppy, making you look unkempt between haircuts. Greg's story demonstrates why this matters. At 65, Greg had been trimming his own bangs for years to save time and money. He'd cut them straight across in a simple line, thinking it kept things neat and easy. But when his daughter convinced him to visit an actual barber who gave him a softer, more layered style, Greg was shocked by the difference. His face appeared younger and more rested. The new style opened up his eyes and made his features look brighter and more defined. Greg found himself standing straighter and feeling more confident in social situations. The modern approach here is to work with your hair's natural texture and growth patterns rather than forcing it into rigid shapes. Keep the sides blended and add softness and movement around your face. Even small changes to how your bangs fall can brighten your eyes and open up your entire appearance. So here's what we've covered. 5 common hairstyles that, despite being familiar and comfortable, are adding unnecessary years to your appearance. The high and tight comb-over that highlights instead of hides. The super long sideburns that drag your face downward. The helmet hair that removes all natural vitality. The dyed to dark look that creates harsh, aging contrasts. And the bold cut or blunt bangs that emphasize every line and flatten your features. The beautiful truth is that none of these are permanent problems. Small, simple changes to your hairstyle can dramatically affect not just how old you look, but how you feel about yourself and how others respond to you. It's never too late to try something new, something that fits who you are right now rather than who you were decades ago. Embracing your natural grey hair and texture often conveys more dignity, confidence, and self-acceptance than any amount of dye or elaborate styling ever could. Think of a good haircut as a form of self-respect and self-care. It shows that you value yourself enough to present your best appearance to the world. This isn't about vanity. It's about feeling comfortable and confident in your own skin, which enhances every aspect of your life, from personal relationships to how you carry yourself in daily activities. Starting tomorrow, take a fresh look at your current hairstyle. Ask yourself honestly whether it's serving you well or whether it's a habit you've maintained without questioning. Consider scheduling an appointment with a skilled barber who works with older clients and understands what styles work best for mature hair and faces. Bring photos if that helps communicate what you're looking for. Be open to suggestions from professionals who see these transformations every day. Remember that the goal isn't to look 20 again. The goal is to look like yourself at your absolute best, vital and confident and comfortable with exactly who you are right now. Your hair should enhance your natural features and reflect your personality, not fight against the reality of your age or signal insecurity about the passage of time. If this video opened your eyes to something you hadn't considered before, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a comment telling me which of these 5 styles surprised you most or which change you're planning to make. Share this video with friends who might benefit from these insights. And if you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future guidance on looking and feeling your best at every age. Small changes create powerful results. Your appearance matters because it affects how you feel about yourself and how you engage with the world. Here's to looking fresh, confident, and authentically yourself, no matter what year you were born.